Hey everybody, before we get stuck into taste test number 3 of 2025's tomatoes, don't forget that in the description below there are timestamps and you can jump ahead to the different tomatoes to see which ones you're interested in. The first half of the video is all about in the polytunnel harvesting them, showing you what the tomatoes look like on the vines, but also the second half then goes into the studio and we chop them open and I taste test them for you. So don't forget, you've got the timestamps below if you just want to have a look at, say, Alice's Dream, or you want to go and have a look at this one, which is quite a zinger. Okay, right, let's get on with the video and I'll see you at the end. Hello, welcome back to the third taste test video, tomato taste test video of 2025. We're in the polytunnel again. We're going to harvest them, weigh them, just like we did last time. Have a look at the plants, have a look at the tomatoes growing on the trusses, just so you get a feeling for the plants, as well as obviously me doing the taste test in the studio, which we'll do later on in the video. So before we do that though, I'm a bit excited about all this stuff out here. Look at all this. It's just rained and everything's looking rather damp here. But yeah, these leeks are coming on. We've got some Swiss chard coming on. I've got the onions to put out in the polytunnel here. Dwarf French beans, these are looking good. These are going to go out in a few days. They've been hardening off outside. A few more leeks and some spring onions. So yeah, just got to keep going, haven't you? It's not all about tomatoes. Well, this video is anyway. Right, okay, let's make a start. We'll have a quick look at what we've got here. We've got quite a few. I think there are 8 to collect today, and we're going to weigh them on the scales and just do what we did sort of last time. So I think what we'll do is we'll start with one down the right hand side. You can see the tomatoes are all beginning to ripen up quite nicely now, getting quite a few. Plants are at the top of the polytunnel. Everything's looking okay at the moment. So, right, here's one. King Kong. This is one I want to taste. This tomato here has been ripe for quite a while and is probably very ripe now, but it's not that big, is it? But you look at these are also King Kong and they're enormous, and this one has started to ripen, as you can see, so that'll be ready to come off soon. But we're going to try this one. If it's nah, we'll try one of these as well and see how it goes. But for the moment, let's just have this one. Oh, so daisy. That's not good, but there you go. Yeah, that's torn it, as they say. Right, it's a lovely sort of heart-shaped tomato. There are quite a lot on this plant. It's doing really quite well. There are all sorts in here. It's sort of a what would you say, a regular leaf. It's indeterminate, grows really tall, all looking good. It's not much more I know about it actually at the moment. I think I got the seeds online off eBay or somewhere like that. Or anyway, right, so that one is King Kong. We'll put that in there. Actually, I think I've got my little snipper somewhere. Someone pointed out that they were squeaking last time, and you're quite right. I did oil them, but maybe they will come back. The squeak will come back. We'll see how we get on. Okay, so that's King Kong. That's the first one. Right, another one we want to harvest, I think, is down here. And this is Heinz 1350. And this is the tomato they make ketchup from. And the seeds were kindly given to me by Danny over at Grow Up channel. And yeah, look at this. This is the sort of archetypal red tomato. I hope it'll, again, no, not quite. So bear with me a second. We'll get these out and see if we can snip this off. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's just a regular tomato, and it's growing on these sort of plants. They're quite a sort of a dwarf plant, getting up quite high at the moment, but I wonder if that's because it's being challenged due to lack of light. Fair few on the plant, but not masses. So anyway, Heinz 1350. Let's put this up here. Oh, actually I forgot to weigh that other one, didn't I? Let's weigh this one first. So Heinz 1350, just an average sized tomato, about 67 grams. Right, that can go in there. And this is King Kong, although I think it's a very small King Kong. Bang on 100 grams. So right, put that in there. Okay, right, let's head back down here. Now this is Dwarf, Antho, Pink Panther, and I've got some growing up in the greenhouse as well, which I'll cut to now. Very profuse plant, and I think the one in the greenhouse, they're both actually fairly dwarf. You can see it's only going up to about here, so about 4 foot or so. But yeah, look at these lovely shaped fruits here. Beautiful colours too. They come off quite easily, but wonderful colours. I think they could be a little riper than this, so I'll let them ripen up indoors first. But yeah, all looking good. And as I say, plenty of sort of tomatoes on the plant here. Right, let's just go up and weigh these. One of them. There we go. Yeah, 15 grams, quite small. So that's Dwarf, Antho, Pink Panther. Right, we'll go for a slightly bigger one this time. Back down here, and we've got the Rebel Starfighter Prime, planted sown on the 7th of the 3rd. But yeah, these are a really profuse plant. Tomato, they produce masses. Not these little ones here. These belong to Montello over here, which we taste tested a couple of days ago. But yeah, these are Rebel Starfighter Prime. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous looking tomato? Fantastic colouring on it. This one's a little soft, so I think we'll take this one if we can. Might have to snip that one off too. Bear with me. It's not ideal. I'm holding the camera between my knees. Alright, let's have that. So yeah, isn't that gorgeous colouring? Fantastic markings on it. The olive green sort of stripings, and I think this is part of a series actually of it's like a Star Wars series of tomatoes. There are various different named tomatoes in this series, but there might be some more around the back here. You can see, yeah, look at these enormous, beautiful looking tomatoes here. Anyway, I'll leave those two, get them later. I'll go and weigh this one. So yeah, this is Rebel Starfighter Prime. I've grown this every year for several years now. It's usually quite a really good tasting tomato. So let's weigh that. Yep, 138 grams, so not a bad size, that one. Okay, right, I'll go back down this side of the polytunnel because I've got some tucked away right at the back here. And these are black cherry. Again, seed sown on the 7th of the 3rd, but yeah, look at this. This is sort of your average truss, and there's quite a lot of tomatoes on this plant. I think someone recommended this to me, so let's just pick a couple of these, or maybe 3, because they look so tasty. Yeah, interesting colour, aren't they? Sort of dark greyish black. They may not have ripened 100% at the moment, but they do feel quite soft. So let's pop them up here. We'll just try one of them. 17 grams. Right, that's the black cherry then. 3 of those. Right, Fuego, Rosa, Alice's Dream and the Unknown. Right. Okay, I've got to be careful here. This is where I fell over in that last video, so I'm going to be a bit more careful here. But tucked away at the back are these really unusual tomatoes. Look at them. Look at the shape of them at the end. Aren't they strange? These are green and unripe at the moment, but these two down here are good. So I'm hoping I can nip that off. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful sort of streaking on it. Sort of fiery lava, orange and red colours. Very unusual shapes too. Let's see if we can get this other one as well. Yeah, there we go. Right, so yeah, again, sort of a fairly droopy leaf tomato. That's a wrong terminology, I appreciate, but lots of them on the plant there and growing all the way up actually, so there's quite a lot of these to come, so quite excited by these. Right, let's just weigh this big one. All right, oh, come back. 60 grams, 59 grams for that one. So yeah, look at those colours, aren't they splendid? Gorgeous. So again, I shall let this ripen up a little bit more and then we can do a taste test on that. Right, Alice's Dream. Now this tomato has been my favourite tomato for the last 2 or 3 years running. So, you know, it is just one of those which I will never not grow, I don't think. So yeah, I've got one here. They have quite a lot on the vine. You can see the vine I split into two. We've got tomatoes up both sides, so it's definitely increased my crop yield doing that. So let's take that one off if we can. No, again. Let's see if I can get this like this. There we go. Now again, I don't think this is 100% ripe. It's going to go indoors. But yeah, look at the colours on that. Lovely sort of anthocyanin on the shoulders. It would definitely be darker if it was more in the sunshine, but it's tucked away at the back there. And these two green bits means it's not quite ripe yet, but on the way. So this will go on the windowsill and we'll just keep an eye on it. Right. Let's pop that on there. 104 grams, yeah, quite dense for its size. So that's Alice's Dream. And then we've got the final one. Now, this is a bit frustrating, isn't it? When you lose the label or you misplace a label, something like that happens, and you end up with a plant which is growing some really nice tomatoes, but actually you don't know what it is. And that's this one here in the doorway, in this pot. It's growing up quite nicely. We've got quite a few little tomatoes coming up. It's quite a wispy, droopy foliage. But yeah, I've got quite a few at the bottom here. And they're kind of just like a regular tomato. But I'm pretty sure they're not the Heinz 1350. I could be wrong, but they're not the same foliage and so on, so I don't think it is. So I don't really know what this is actually. Anyway, this is unknown. Let's just pop it on there. And we've got 80 grams. Okay, right, the unknown tomato. I was given some seeds and the listings there will probably describe which one it is. So if I can work out what it is, I will let you know when we do the taste tests. Right, okay, I'm going to get on harvest a few other things. We've got some lovely tomatoes to come. We've got Cherokee Carbon here. This one in the corner here, which a lot of people have recommended to me, said it's absolutely delicious. And I think this is probably nearly ripe, but that'll probably be in the next taste test, I think. And I can't see many others that are, well, there are some that are ripe that we've already done taste tests for. Anyway, right, we'll take these, we'll head up to the studio, do the taste tests. Hello, right, we're up at the studio. It's been a couple of days since I did the harvest, so you will have seen all me harvesting earlier, but it's a couple of days later. I just wanted to let some of the tomatoes ripen up a little bit more, such as the Alice's Dream, which I mentioned in the video. I didn't think it was quite ripe. Anyway, so we've got some really exciting tomatoes, and as you can see from my calendar, it is tomato month. So I'm really excited to get stuck into these and let you know what they taste like. So we'll just flick over. I've got them all laid out on the board and we'll run through what we've got again, just in case you're not sure what they are. So at the top here we have Cherokee Carbon. This is the one I wasn't going to include, but I have because it just looks wonderful and a lot of people have recommended it to me. So if you're watching this and you recommended it to me, then I hope I can explain it as well as you enjoy it. We've got Alice's Dream here. This was the one that was slightly underripe, had some green bits on it. They've disappeared, but I don't know if it's going to be 100% the best. We'll see. Then we've got King Kong. This is the small King Kong. Those others now, those two big ones, are really big and ripening up now, but they're not ready for the taste test. Here we've got Fuego Rosa. This is promising. I think it's more of a cooking tomato, but we'll taste it anyway and we'll have a look. Then we've got Black Cherry down here, just a little cherry. We've got an unknown tomato. That happens occasionally. I mislaid the label, so I don't know which one it is, but we'll see what it's like. Then we've got Dwarf Antho Pink Panther. That's supposed to be really nice. I've got quite a lot of them growing on the plants in the greenhouse and the polytunnel, as I showed you. Then we've got Heinz 1350. This one up here. This is, I believe, what they make tomato ketchup from, Heinz tomato ketchup. And that was given to me by Danny, so thanks Danny. And then finally, last but not least, we've got Rebel Starfighter Prime, which is one of my favourites. So we'll see if that lives up to all the hype of previous years. I sort of grow it more or less every year. Right, okay, I'll just move these out of the way and we'll make a start with, I think, the Black Cherry. Which one's that sticking in the picture? We don't need to see that, do we? So yeah, we'll make a start with Black Cherry. So let me bring it up to the camera and show you. It's an interesting sort of colour. It's not 100% black. It's this sort of olivey red, sort of blackish sort of colour. It's got the sepals at the top there, sort of slightly speckled. Interesting colours, quite soft. So we'll give it a try and see what it's like. Right. Okay, got a different knife this week, so this should be a bit sharper. Right, so we'll cut this open. It's very soft. It's split very easily. It's very soft and juicy. And I'll just show you here what it's like and then bring you over to the camera. Yeah, wonderful colours, aren't they? Look at those beautiful dark green emerald olives and that really interesting red colour in the middle, a sort of a scarlet almost radiating out, and then the interesting flesh around the edges. So quite a beautiful looking tomato. Right, let's put this bit back up here somewhere where we can see it. Just wipe that down. It's so juicy actually, there's tomato juice going everywhere. Right, okay, let's give this a try. This is black cherry, growing in big trusses in the polytunnel, as you can see, and they're really, yeah, quite profuse plant, quite interesting. So let's give this a try. Okay, right, that's interesting. There's definitely acid in there. You can really feel it. There's a tomatoey taste and slightly fruity. It's very, very soft and very juicy. That might be because it's very, very ripe. But yeah, let me just get it. So I think there's more flavour around the seeds. I think that's what I've noticed doing these tomato tests. There's more flavour around the seeds. But yeah, it's a nice tomato. It's a nice cherry. It's better than anything you'll ever get in a supermarket. It really is. Yeah, it's packed full of flavour. It's not like, say, honeycomb, which I grow, which has got all sorts of flavours in it. It's left this sort of acid twang on my back of my tongue. The skin isn't too thick. It's quite thin. Let me just check this in the right place. Yeah, the skin is quite thin. But yeah, quite nice. Okay, I like that one. It's not the best thing I've ever had, but it is nice. It is nice. Don't get me wrong, it's nice. Okay, next one. I think what we'll do is we'll try this Fuego Rosa. Now I've got another one here, so we've got two of them. They're beautiful, aren't they? I'm always trying to hold them up the right way. But yeah, look at the way the sort of striping goes down. It's like a lava sort of effect, isn't it? Really interesting colours. And really interesting shape on the end. They sort of have these odd shapes on the end. But yeah, they're quite solid. I think they're probably going to be quite dense. They might not have many seeds. We shall see. Anyway, I think this one's slightly riper. So we'll try this one. And what I think with this one is we'll cut it down the length. So let's just switch you over to the board. And I'm trying to make sure that I speak into the microphone. So tell me again if the sound is okay or not. Right, so this is Fuego Rosa growing at the back of the polytunnel. So we'll cut it down the middle this way this time. And we'll have a look. Yeah, hardly any seeds. Right, okay. Yeah, hardly any seeds in it. Very sort of dense. I don't know what sort of flavour it's going to have, but what I'll do is, let me just take you back here. I'll cut it this way as well, and you can get a feel for it this way as well. Bring this over to the camera. So yeah, as you can see end on, it's really very few seeds and quite dense. And usually this sort of means it's more like a pasty sort of taste, texture, and not much flavour, and really good for cooking with. But let's give it a go and we'll see what it's like. This is Fuego Rosa. Okay, that's interesting. The skin isn't soft, it's not firm, it's just sort of in the middle. There's sort of a perfumed flavour to it. It's not really sweet, it's not really tomatoey. It's not pasty, you know, some of these cooking tomatoes are really sort of pasty and a bit dry. It's definitely not that, but I'm not sure, it's definitely not like a salad tomato. It's probably more of a cooking tomato, I think. So yeah, so this is Fuego Rosa. I think, yeah, you might can this or sun dry it maybe, or dehydrate it, something like that. That might be really good. Dry it out in the oven, or cook with it, or make sauces with it, that sort of thing. But yeah, I'll just try this, a bit more of this other bit. I'll take the screen off because I don't want to eat that. I'll just try this bit and see if it's any different. Yeah, it's definitely got a tomato flavour to it. This would definitely be a good cooking tomato, like for sauces and things. Not excessively acid, not really sweet, not masses of flavour. It does have a tomato flavour. So I would say that this Fuego Rosa is a really good one for cooking with. I find it hard to sort of recommend them when they're not really sweet or really savoury. But if I had another class, we had sweet and we had savoury and we had cooking, I would say, yeah, this is really good for cooking. So anyway, that's Fuego Rosa. Right, next one. What we're going to do is we're going to try this. And this is the unknown tomato. It's like a salad, red salad tomato. It feels quite firm and dense. I'm not sure whether it's 100% ripe. I mean, it looks it. So we'll chop it open and we'll have a look. So, okay, the unknown tomato. Cut it through the middle. It's quite firm, soft skin, it felt like. Not excessively juicy. But yeah, that's interesting. That's not like a normal tomato. Look how dense that is. There's hardly any seeds in there at all. The seed cavities are sort of almost full up. Very interesting. Nice and juicy by the looks of it. I'm trying to get it towards the light. Catch the light for you. But yeah, interesting colours though, isn't it? It's really dense and meaty actually. Interesting. Right, let's put this bit over here. I'll just dry that off. And we'll cut this open. Cut a bit off and see what it's like. Let's just cut a couple of bits. Bring it over to the camera. If I don't, try not to drop it. There we go. Look at that. You have to excuse my hands. I've been in the garden this morning. I've scrubbed them, but you know, when you're a gardener, it just gets into your skin, doesn't it? Anyway, yeah, I've been pruning the tomatoes hard today, so I'm going away for a few days. So I've just got to make sure blight doesn't get in and they don't get all too terrible. So yeah, lots of gardening this morning. But yeah, look at that. That's really solid. Hardly any seeds. Right. So this is the unknown tomato. Oh wow, that's amazing. It's sort of sweet and tart and acidic and fruity and juicy. It's like, you know, when you have salt and vinegar crisps or something like that, you put them on the back of your tongue, it's like, need a quick drink. Yeah, this is really nice. Why does that always happen when you get a tomato and you don't know what it is and it's really nice? I'll have to try and save seeds for this and find out in my records if it relates to anything I was given. But I'll try this other bit as well. But yeah, it's making my mouth water amazing. Oh. Wow. That is extraordinary. That's a real zinger. A real zinger. Really delicious. Yeah, that's great. I mean, look at it. It is really dense, isn't it? It's very interesting. I'm going to have to try and find out what that is for you. So you have some idea if you can get seeds or something. But yeah, that's cool. Amazing. Okay, that's good. Right, let's move on. So the next one I want to try is Dwarf Antho Pink Panther. And I have a couple here. Look at the colours on these. These are extraordinary, aren't they? Look at them. Beautiful dark anthracene and these lovely sort of little star shapes on the end where the sepals were. Yeah, that's just where the sun couldn't get to them. And so, yeah, basically they stay that sort of colour. But yeah, look at these lovely fiery, dark, smoky, rich colours. Gorgeous looking. Anyway, right, let's cut this one open. Again, we'll go lengthways, I think, for this one. This is Dwarf Antho Pink Panther. It's quite firm cutting it this way. Firm skin, not excessively juicy. But yeah, all right. Interesting. I always think it's interesting doing it this way. Definitely doesn't look the same as when you cut it through the middle, sort of on that different axis. But yeah, look at that. There's a few seeds, lovely sort of colouring, sort of fiery sort of shape. Really interesting. It is quite firm, but yeah, really nice looking. Right. Okay, we'll put that bit over there, and we'll cut a little bit off here. Let you see what it's like. So yeah, you can see there's some seeds in there, but quite dense. It's quite a small tomato, not massive, so let's give it a try. That's nice. That's soft, juicy, not excessively juicy. I mean, it's sort of fruity. It's sort of like the inside of a grape texture. You know, as you peel the grape and you eat the grape, it's that sort of firmish sort of texture. Very, very nice. It's not sharp in any way whatsoever. Let's just try this bit and I'll see if I can get any more out of it. Yes, it's definitely the skin's not massively firm, but there's a bit of crunch to it. It's sort of jelly-like, but firm. It's got an interesting flavour. Doesn't pack it and bang it out to you. It's definitely nice. That's really naff way of putting it, isn't it? Definitely nice. It is very nice. It's a good tasting tomato, but it's not the best I've ever had. It's not really sweet, it's not really savoury, and it's definitely not a cooking tomato. It's sort of wavering somewhere in the middle, perhaps more the middle, in between sweet and savoury. So yeah. Okay, that's Dwarf Antho Pink Panther. Okay, next one. Let's go for this, and this is the Heinz 1350, and I know Danny really rates this. I think you do anyway, Danny. Apologies if you don't, but I think you did say you really liked it. But yeah, the Heinz 1350, and they used to make ketchup. So I guess, I'm hoping it's going to be very tomatoey, not too acidic, a bit fruity and quite firm. So yeah, let's get it open and see what it's like. So Heinz 1350. We'll go through the middle of this one like this. It's quite firm, not excessively juicy. Open it up. Yes, kind of what I expected. Kind of a very sort of ordinary looking tomato, something you might get in the shops. Nothing particularly special about it at all. Right, let's put this bit up here. Just try that off. Bring this back. So yeah, Heinz 1350. Interesting colours, you know, nice sort of colours, aren't they? Sort of pale pinks. The seeds are sort of yellows and so on. So yeah, this is sort of hopefully one of those tomatoes you could sort of rely on if you like red tomatoes. But let's cut it open, cut a bit off, sorry, and we'll see what it's like. Actually, let's just swap that because I don't want that end. Swap that there. Take a couple of bits off this. We'll see what these are like. Bring it over to the camera. You can see, yeah, sort of regular sort of tomato. Right, let's give it a go. Okay, I'm going to have to try the next bit as well. Not convinced on this one. This is interesting. This has got, this Heinz 1350, it's got sort of a perfumey sort of taste to it and a tomato taste. I think it's interesting because you sort of, well, I presume it's the one that's used for ketchup. You see it on the label, don't you? Heinz tomato ketchup. It's a Heinz 1350. And you think, that's going to taste the ketchup. That's going to be really strong. But actually you forget there's a load of sugar and salt and vinegar and all that sort of stuff in it. So you've got to kind of take that out of your mind and just think about the tomato as it stands. It's quite nice. It's sort of soft, bit juicy. The skin's got a big crunch to it. It's like a good supermarket tomato, if you know what I mean, a good red one. It would be good, I think, for making into sauces, although it's not massively dense. There's a lot of seeds in there, aren't they? But I guess perhaps when you combine it with all the other ingredients, then you can get a really good sauce out of it. It's not something that I would go out of my way to necessarily grow again, unless I was going to try and recreate ketchup, which might be fun, actually. It might be fun to try and do that, but I don't actually have enough plants. I've only got one plant, and yeah, it's not massively productive. It is tucked away at the back, and it's been behind all the cucumbers in the middle, so it's not got as much light. So maybe if I were to grow it sort of more on its own, it would do better. But yeah, okay, Heinz 1350. Okay, but not my favourite. Okay, what should we do? Let's do the King Kong, shall we? And I feel a bit cheated with this one, and I'm trying not to. It's a lovely heart shape, isn't it? Beautiful colour red. Really interesting looking tomato. But as I say, the ones in the polytunnel are massive, really big. Different colours, different shape. and altogether completely different. If I put one of those together with this, you would say they're not the same tomato. So anyway, let's give this a try and we'll see what it's like. So this is the King Kong, or miniature King Kong. So let's cut this open down here through the middle like the others. It's soft, very soft in the skin, very soft to cut through, quite juicy, yeah, as you can see. Beautiful colours and not much seed, not many seeds. So let's bring it over here, try not to drip everywhere. Handsome, isn't it? Look at that. Now that's what you call a red tomato. When you're sort of looking at tomatoes, you put this next to the Heinz and you just think, I think I prefer this one. So let me put that back. So yeah, so this is King Kong. What I will do is I'll try and do a taste test for the really big one later on as well, just to show you what it's like in another video, sort of a runners up type video. But yeah, this is looking promising. So let's put that bit down there and cut a little bit off so I can see what it's like. So I'll cut it down the middle. Perhaps I should have cut it this way in the first instance. You can see this amazing colouring, how solid it is. Isn't that amazing? Right, let's try this, see what it's like. Well, that was interesting. That just kind of melted in the mouth and disappeared. It's a bit of tomato flavour, not really sweet, not tangy. I'm going to try this other bit as well, just to see if I can actually get some flavour out of it. Okay, that's interesting. I think this one had been ripe on the plant for a good nearly 4 or 5 days before we picked it in the other video, and now it's been a couple more days. It's quite watery, not packed full of flavour, but it's a beauty of a tomato, isn't it? It would probably be really good on a bit of sourdough, cut through, you know, with parmesan and salt and pepper and whatever else, butter on a bit of toast. Yeah, that would be really nice. It's kind of an interesting tomato. It's better than what you'd get in a supermarket, but it does just sort of melt in the mouth and just sort of disappear. It's not much crunch to the skin, which is nice. Quite like a thin tomato skin. But yeah, it's a beautiful looking tomato, isn't it? Anyway, not the best today, but not bad. So next, I think what we'll do, we'll try this one. Now this is one of my all-time favourites. It's Rebel Starfighter Prime, and you just have to look at it to think, wow, the colours. The beautiful anthocyanin on the shoulders there, sort of spreading round into this deep dark mahogany red where the flower was, and this olivey green striping. It's like running paint or separating oil on water, isn't it? That doesn't make it necessarily taste good, but it is such a beautiful looking tomato. Right, Rebel Starfighter Prime. Let's take this over here, cut it in half, and we'll see what it looks like inside. So, oh, very, very soft, juicy, goes through very easily. I think this will be a good one. Ah, look at that, wonderful. Yeah, you can see how much juice is there. Okay, here we are. Look at that. Ah, yes. This reminds me of what did we the one the other day? I'll put it on the screen now. But yeah, it's like a connoisseur's tomato. I always think of leather chairs and old gentlemen's smoking clubs when I get tomatoes like that. It sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? But that's what I think of when I see these. Very juicy, nice big seeds, very meaty, but wonderful colouring in the middle there. The red's going out, sort of. It's almost like a sea creature, as I've said before. But yeah, right. Enough waffling. Let's put that down there, and we'll move these about a little bit. Try this, and we'll cut a little bit off to try. Through the middle. It's so juicy. It's dripping everywhere. But yeah, look at that wonderful colouring. Right, let's give it a taste test. Okay, that's really nice. It's like butter, just melts in the mouth. Really tasty. I'm just going to try this bit as well because it didn't linger long enough. Let me try this one as well. The skin has a bit of crunch to it and that sort of grassy flavour to it. Not tough, not heavy. It's nice. The flesh is soft and juicy and just melts in the mouth like butter. It's got a bit of acid which I can taste on my tongue, and it's a bit fruity. I'm not picking up much umami flavours, savoury flavours in this like I have done before in others. I don't know why that is. I want to try another little bit. Let me just try another little bit. It's nice, there's acid in there, it's sort of a fruitiness. It's not the most amazing one I've ever had. It's a beauty of a tomato. This is the sort of thing that I would stick on sourdough, because you sometimes need sort of the salt and pepper and the cheese to bring out the best bits of a tomato. So this isn't something which I put in a salad perhaps. It's sort of a bit soft and might disappear. But yeah, it's not smacking me between the eyes, as it were. I must admit, this one here which we had, the unknown, this is delicious. This is quite on a different level. Okay, right, Rebel Starfighter Prime. The thing I like about Rebel Starfighter Prime is the fact that it is really good for putting on sourdough and having on sandwiches and things like that. It's a good slicer and you get masses on the vine, so I will continue to grow it. But this one, when you're doing these individual taste tests, it's quite difficult to sort of compare this to say like this Yellow Brick Road, which I had the other day, which is like a little fruit bomb, which we're still going to try a bit later. So yeah, I do really like these, but it's not been the most flavourful one today. Interesting. Okay, next I'm going to do the Cherokee Carbon. Now I want to save the Alice's Dream to last, because that is my favourite tomato of all time for a while. I've seen other people review it and not say that they really like it. So it just goes to show these taste tests are really subjective. We've obviously all got different taste buds and we all experience things differently, and we all like different types of flavours, whether it's savoury or sweet and so on. So yeah, what might be my favourite might not be yours, and I guess that's just fair enough. That's the way it is, isn't it? Okay, Cherokee Carbon. Quite a beautiful tomato, lovely colours. This dark olive on the shoulders going around to this sort of rich red on the base. Yeah, it's a good sized tomato. A lot of people have recommended this to me. They've said, have you tried Cherokee Carbon yet? Have you tried Cherokee Carbon yet? Try Cherokee Carbon. So here we go. This is Cherokee Carbon. Right, okay, switch over and we'll cut this one open. Okay, it's a big tomato. It feels solid and meaty, but let's see what it's like. So it's quite soft skin, soft to cut through. It's just sliding through. Feels like it should be like a professional grower's tomato, this one, but let's open it up and see. Ah, interesting. Bring it over to the camera. And as you can see, really interesting shapes and colours. Lovely sort of greens and reds in there. Lovely olives and so on. Sometimes I just can't get the lighting right and the camera reverses everything. But yeah, so this is Cherokee Carbon. Looks good, doesn't it? Very interesting colours. Okay, let's put this bit down here in the middle. Cherokee Carbon. Let's just dry that up a bit. And cut a couple of bits off. Okay, here we are. So, not a traditional red tomato by any means, but it is red. Really interesting colours, those rich sort of mahogany reds and so on. So let's give this a try. This is Cherokee Carbon tomato. That's soft, juicy. It's got tomato flavour. No umami that I'm picking up. A little bit of savoury, maybe a little bit lingering on the tongue. It's nice. Let me just try another bit. I don't feel like I'm doing it justice. Let's try another bit. Yes, it's very juicy. It melts in the mouth. And so there is acid around those pips. There's a bit of a zing. There's definitely a tomato taste. It's a nice tomato. That would be a really good slicer as well. Yeah, this is something that I definitely put on toast or bake maybe. You could chop this up into a salad. That would be very nice. It's got good texture. The skin's not excessively thick. It's got a good all-round sort of flavour profile to it. It's good. It's not sweet, not savoury. It's definitely not a cooker, as it were, for sauces, although I suppose you could do. But yeah, Cherokee Carbon, very nice. And that's another thing, isn't it, about tasting tomatoes. one time this one might not be quite as good, but I've got a smaller one here, and this one might really pack a punch. So sometimes even the tomatoes on the vine are different. They've had more sun, they've been on the plant longer, they're grown at a different time of year where there's been more warmth. That sort of thing can really affect tomatoes. Like last year it was quite cold and damp here in the UK, and tomatoes were a bit so-so. You know, they weren't all that great, especially if they were grown outside. Right, so that is Cherokee Carbon. Okay, apart from these last two I'm going to try the Alice's Dream, and this has been my #1 flavoured tomato for I think 3 years running. But again, I really like sweet tomatoes with a lot of flavour and different levels of flavour. Also like savoury tomatoes too, but yeah, tomatoes that pack a punch, that have something interesting about them. Now this one is slightly soft, so I think it's probably just about right. Down here it had the green bits which you see, and remember in the video they've gone now, so I'm not sure if it's going to be the most ripe, but we'll give it a go and see how it stands up. Okay, so this is Alice's Dream, and yeah, I really like this tomato usually. Right, let's cut this open. Quite firm, soft skin, sort of silky smooth feeling to cut through. Let's open it up. Yeah, lovely, look at those colours. Right, dripping everywhere, but yeah, look at that, isn't that fabulous? Fabulous colours and markings. Solid, not masses of pips, but yeah, there's a little bit of pink tinging coming in the middle there. Not as much as I've seen before, which may mean this isn't quite as ripe as usual. Okay, right, Alice's Dream, let's give this a taste. Alice's Dream, right, let's cut some of this off. And try some. Ah, there we go, there's some of that pink tinging I was just saying about, which quite often you see in the middle, just at the top there at the end. Yeah, okay, let's give this a try, see what it's like. Alice's Dream tomato. Okay, this one is sort of a fruitiness to it, a bit of acid twang, not massively sweet. I've had sweeter, which leads me to think that this isn't the sweetest I have had, or the best I've had, the most ripe. But yeah, it's nice. It's got sort of a pineapple overtones to it. The skin's not excessively crunchy, doesn't have that pea sort of taste, you know, fresh peas or grass. Yeah, it's quite nice. But let me just try this piece. Okay, that's not the best Alice's Dream I've ever had. I've had better than that. As I say, I don't necessarily think it's the ripest, and it's been grown on the north side of the polytunnel and not the south, so it hasn't got so much sun, so that might have affected it as well. It is beautiful colouring. It's got this sort of tropical looking colour and flavour. Very interesting looking. Good in a salad, this one. Good as a slicer as well, but I think I prefer the darker tomatoes for putting onto toast and so on. But this, yeah, if you chop this up with other tomatoes in your salad bowl, that would be delicious. It's not the best I've ever had, which is a shame because I wanted to really say, yeah, this is a cracker. But as I say, some of the others in the polytunnel might be amazing. So that's Alice's Dream. Good, but not my favourite today. So there we go. Okay, right, last but not least then. These aren't really part of this taste test. We've done the taste test and that's what we've got so far. They're a bit laid out all over the place, aren't they? But yeah, let's bring that in there. So yeah, I've got some interesting tomatoes there, but I really just wanted to try these again. These are Yellow Brick Road. I just wanted to see if this was as good as I thought it was last time in the video #1. So let me cut this open and we'll just see what this is like. Lovely colours in it. I do like the look of this one. Yeah, lovely solid little yellow sort of cherry. And this is Yellow Brick Road. You can get seeds online for them. I have seen them, and yeah, they're supposed to be quite profuse, although my plant in the greenhouse isn't doing as well as I think. But if this is as good as the last one, I'm going to be growing a lot more of these next year. So right, let's give this a try. Woo! This is great. This really is good. This is fantastic. This has got so many flavours to it. Lovely. All acid twang, fruity, sort of peachy pineapples, nectarine. There's all sorts of flavours in here. This is really, really good. Actually, I'm going to eat this bit too. Really, really good. If you can get some of Yellow Brick Road, really, I advise give it a go and see, and let me know what you think, because I really, really like these. These are good, and the first review I did in the first video, yeah, this really stacks up. Really lovely tomato. And apparently, I think Karen Olivier, who bred these, there are 2 more in this series, and they're supposed to be even more flavourful, packed with flavour and sweeter perhaps, so I'm going to have to give those a try. Okay, right, I'll just reorganise them, and then we'll do a little roundabout, and I'll let you know, roundup, and I'll let you know which ones I preferred the most. Okay, let's have a look at them, shall we? And I'll just let you know which ones I think were the best in order this week. Now, obviously, as I say, things can change from week to week, but this week, these are the best. So number 1 is the unknown tomato. Isn't that a real shame? I really wanted to tell you what that is, and I will do my best to find out. But yeah, really interesting, zingy, wonderful flavours. Then we've got Cherokee Carbon. That's a very nice tomato, very good. And then we've got Black Cherry. That was very nice. I like that one. We've got Rebel Starfighter Prime, which I tend to grow every year. Good slicer on toast and so on. That's a good one for that. Then we've got the Dwarf Antho Pink Panther. This was a nice one. Very good. Look at that. Alice's Dream right down there. Isn't that a shame? Just perhaps not as ripe. If I get a really ripe one, perhaps in a roundup video at the end, I'll do another one. But yep, not lived up to expectations this year. Then we've got the very interesting Fuego Rosa, which I think is more of a cooking tomato. We've got the Heinz 1350, which again, perhaps more of a sauce tomato, surprisingly. And then this one over here, this is the King Kong, which I'm not convinced actually is a very good example of King Kong, and we'll see. It does suggest actually, doesn't it, that King Kong is a big tomato. It's supposed to have big presence and be, yeah, I don't know if it means it's big on flavour, but they're not always, are these big red tomatoes. Okay, hope you enjoyed that taste test, folks. I'll be back for another 1 or 2. There aren't masses more tomatoes to grow that we haven't taste tested yet. They're all coming on. There's many green tomatoes in the polytunnel, so maybe next week we'll have some more, or we'll be back on the allotment, because I've got lots of leeks that sort of need planting out. I've got dwarf French beans which need planting out. I've got to transfer the 2 rhubarb plants up to the allotment, and I've got some quinces. I've got some apple trees. There's an awful lot to do up at the allotment over the next few weeks. Anyway, okay. Bye for now, folks.